Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everybody. I'm in a much better mood today, thanks to the King. I've been laughing about it, actually, since I heard yesterday, the Great Escape to Sandringham. Doesn't that send a massive message to the world? And if anybody can't understand that one, I shall explain further. I mean, can you imagine, right? Harry goes screeching across the Atlantic, skids up at Clarence House. You can just imagine it. I personally don't actually believe that the King and his son spoke at all. I don't think so. Can you imagine? Phone call, and Harry, his fatal mistake was the leaks and the announcing he was on his way, wasn't it? He'd have done better, or somebody would have done better, because I can't imagine who might have leaked that information. I'm on my way. Oh my God, he's on his way. I've landed. Yeah, come to Clarence House. Come to Clarence House. Get the car started. Charles and Camilla. It must have been like dun 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 dun. By the time Harry realises, rushes to Buckingham Palace, can you just imagine him running across the grass lawn, jumping up and failing to grab hold of one of the skids with Charles and Camilla in the helicopter taking off. No, I don't mean to be cruel. However, I have great, ever more sympathy for the King, because it would appear that we have an awful lot more in common with him than you may realise. Although we have all just found out, I can assure you that the King and the Queen will have known for months. And any of you out there who've ever had a medical condition anywhere near this sort of nature. The reason people go to doctors and it's found out is not always screening. Now, I've been talking to a friend this morning whose son said to her 6 months ago, I don't think the King is very well. Something is wrong. 6 months ago. So we're looking at the summer last year, because what generally happens is people don't feel very well. They tend to have symptoms, which then provokes a checkup, etc., etc. I know that is the case with Graham. I know that was the case with my own mother. I know that was the case with Graham's mother. You know, at first you're not quite sure if you're just feeling a little bit under the weather, etc., etc. It's not the first thing to spring to one's mind. Catherine equally, and I'm not discussing medical specifics, but she too, and William, I mean, the whole family will have known months ago. So cast your mind back to last November, Endgame. So the family are sitting on this, like they did with Her Late Majesty. They all knew, and Philip, and they've got to sit there silently, keep it quiet for privacy, because it's a medical thing and it's up to each individual. They've got to keep it quiet, suffer in silence, whilst having shit thrown all over them by a member of their own family. Think about that. And Graham and I had a similar experience last year, where none of you guys knew, because, as I say, these things take time. They build until an ultimate diagnosis, and we were having shit thrown over us by someone who seems to support Harry. I'm not saying there's a connection, but some people who praise and love and worship and adore Harry and Meghan. So we sat there in silence. So we're now watching the situation and realising that what the King, the Queen, William, Catherine, all of the family, all of them, have been going through while Omid Scobie released his dog shit book accusing Charles and Catherine of being racists. Now, it doesn't make one feel very charitable towards the one that was throwing the shit. Now, obviously, the ones that were throwing the shit at me and Graham are not related to us. They're trolls. It's a different matter with Charles, because his own son and daughter-in-law have openly thrown shit through books and interviews and Netflix and associates, shall we put it, like the Omid Scobie. And I can see exactly what's gone through Charles's mind. He doesn't want to see Harry. If he did, he wouldn't have flown away in a helicopter. 45-minute meeting? No, I don't even think that happened. Put it this way. When Graham was diagnosed, or if any of you have ever been diagnosed, and your children come to see you, you do not go out the back door in a getaway car. Actions speak volumes, don't they? And I mean, if I was diagnosed, for example, and my kids turned up, you know, maybe my daughter would fly from the UK. Are you okay, Mum? I would not escape. I wouldn't turn off my phone, leave the house, go and hide in a cafe, try and be somewhere else. I wouldn't do that. I would think, oh, well, my daughter's come. I'd love to see her. So that should speak volumes, really, shouldn't it, to everybody? Because I see a lot of pundits say things like Charles talking about his darling boy. Well, I'm not so sure that it's that simple. So when reports are coming out, allegedly, that William has no plans to meet Harry, I can well believe that. And from having seen the King's actions, I mean, I couldn't stop laughing at the class and the style of it. It's so James Bond, isn't it? Literally escaping the palace in a helicopter, going to Sandringham. Now, I would imagine if you're not feeling well and you have a choice of properties, Sandringham is a fabulous place. I love Norfolk. Some of you guys live on the Norfolk Broads, and my heart is the Norfolk Broads. It was always my favourite place to go on holiday at Easter. So yes, of course, Sandringham offers everything, doesn't it? Peace, quiet, comfort. And as also a lot of you know, any of you guys out there who've had serious illness, and as now Graham and I know, positive thought, stress-free is what helps. I couldn't believe it with Graham. Now, just the positivity and laughter and trying to keep things upbeat. So when people try and do people down when they're ill, I mean, I don't think Harry knew. I don't think he knew, but any sympathy that I had for Harry, as some of you know I have had smidgings, it's been reduced over the years. Any sympathy I had for him has completely gone. It is obliterated. It is gone, gone, gone. Because it was pretty obvious. If my friend's son, I think a lot of us could see, Charles is of advancing years. Is it right to do that? Never mind what happened with Her late Majesty, Prince Philip. Does he not learn a lesson? As far as the councillors of state thing goes, that's a really temporary thing. It's like, a lot of you in the comments yesterday said you've got to live in the UK. Well, that can be easily cured. No one knows if Harry already owns a house. He'd only have to have a bed sit somewhere, wouldn't he? And say, that's my residence. So I can't see him being called on as a councillor of state. He is in the line of succession. There's nothing can be done about that, as far as I know. It is what you get. It's a hereditary thing. He's nowhere near the throne, and he's nowhere near getting near the throne. What I believe is he is absolutely skint. I believe that even if Charles didn't have cancer and there'd been no diagnosis, you would have seen Harry, we all would have seen Harry arrive in the UK. I said it 2 weeks ago. I've known the money must be running out. I mean, it's just simple economics, isn't it? Mathematics. No money coming in, money being pissed up the wall, left, right and centre. It's obvious. And money spent on what, I wonder? PR? Who knows? Bots, trolls? I don't know. Well, they did have that Christopher Boozy, didn't they, on their Netflix docuseries, of which they had full editorial control. Yes, sorry, Sugars, had to slip that one in. And there's a connection to from them to Boozy, from Boozy to Sarah Data, from Sarah Data to other people. Oh, what a lot of money to waste. What a lot of energy to waste instead of getting on with one's life. So I would imagine a lot of people are saying, oh, he's going to fly back straight away like he did with the coronation. I'm not so sure. I reckon he's going to stick around in the UK. I reckon he's going to stick around. He's going to try and buy himself a little residence. He'll probably use the guise that his father needs him, which I don't think he does. I think that stress can bring illness on. I do believe that. Well, we shall see. But I don't think Charles could have sent a clearer message to all of us. When a child has flown thousands of miles across the Atlantic and finally arrives, I mean, couldn't Harry have jumped in the helicopter with them and gone with them to Sandringham? That would be a normal thing, wouldn't it, if you want to see the child? So I don't believe there was ever a meeting. Well, all chickens are going to come home to roost soon, aren't they? But yeah, God bless His Majesty. I hope he is strong, fit and positive and surrounds himself with light. I know all of you are praying for him. We're all praying for him. And the Queen, the entire family, Prince and Princess of Wales, their children, Anne, Edward, Sophie, and the extended members of the family. And what they don't need right now is a ton of stress. I mean, those guys live constantly under criticism and stress, and that is the last thing they need right now. And they certainly don't need some sort of Netflix circus rocking up or begging bowls for money as if the king is a bank of some sort. No, they don't need any of that. And I feel that the end is nigh, isn't it? It just feels like it's taking forever because the internet life, is so fast. But if you look back over the timeline of just the last year, what was happening this time last year, a lot has happened in a year. Skid Row, here we come. As always, thank you very much for listening, and I look forward to hearing your thoughts and opinions in the comments below.